We're going to start right off the new year with the Storybook Friends paper and stamp set and ephemera. So it came with ephemera, which is punched out cutouts almost, and that just needs adhesive. There's no adhesive on them. So we're going to start working with it right away. So you see this sheet of paper, and you're like, where do I start cutting on this? And there's lots of beautiful designs. Now there is a B-side as well, which is nice and plain, and so I don't have an issue cutting this. What I want to do is show you how to work with all of this in making cards. So when you look, there are oftentimes pattern papers that Stampin' Up! Puts in a package that has these little vignettes all on one sheet. So I'm going to show you how to cut them, and then whenever you see these vignettes in a paper pack, you're going to know exactly how to cut it. So what you're going to do is you're going to look for the one that has the straight line across. So like if I cut from here to here, but all the way down, I'm going to cut some of these off. So if you've probably already noticed, the straight line is right here. So I can go from this point to this point, and that'll keep everything above intact. And then I'll have this piece to cut in 4 different pieces. So let's get started on that. Bring this up a bit. There we go. Okay, so make sure that it's in the trough up here and down here. I've got my paper edged along the top to keep everything straight. And then I'm going to cut from the bottom to the top. Okay, so you can see I've made a great cut. There's nothing left on the design on here or on this piece. So now I'm going to cut these pieces into 4. Okay, bring this down. So I'm going to just line that where the cutting trough is, bring my blade down. I've got this secure at the top, and then by bringing my blade up, it's going to keep everything cutting straight. You won't be off at all. Okay, now if you see, I have left, it didn't quite clear that so well. I've got some of that other piece on there. I can just trim that off with no issue. It sometimes happens, and it's not going to impact anything at all. So I've got now piece number 1 to work with to make a card. So then I'm just going to keep that up. The next cut, so now I'm going to look at my paper again, and the next cut that I'm going to make is this point to this point, because that's the next straight line we have that will cut and divide everything up evenly. Okay, so it's laid out very strategically and to give you different vignettes to make cards with. Now then I'm going to look at this piece, and what piece gives me the straight cut is this one here. So this one is not going to be as straightforward as the first piece we cut, but you're just going to have to turn it around and see. Now we've got this piece, and then we're going to turn it and then cut this piece. Love the strawberry portrait. And then I'm just going to turn this, and that's our final cut on that piece. And there we go. Now you can see I've got a little bit of coral under there, so I'll just trim it. Sometimes it works really well and sometimes it doesn't. And there we go. We've got that cut, and we've just cut that little piece off. It's not going to impact the cards at all. And then this is the last piece of that vignette paper. So I'm going to cut across here. Perfect. And I'm going to then turn this and cut here. So there we go. Out of that piece of vignette, we've got this. This will be so pretty on a card. So look at all the different vignettes we have. This would be pretty for a label to stamp in there, a sentiment. The strawberries. You could use this side if you want it, but I love the pattern side. And then we have these rectangles. So we're going to work with this to make cards. Keeping it simple, Stampin' Up. I'll show you how to make cards next. I took a few minutes and I took each of these little sections that were cut out, and I just went through my stash of cardstock that I have pieces left over, and I thought, okay, I need to use these up. And you know, I had it all laid out on, you know, really good cardstock like this, but this I can use for the back of the cards. So as I was, you know, getting some little snippets, I'm like, okay, that can stay for making a card. Let's use up what we have. I'm not really good at that. I'll start cutting up some of this new cardstock and then I add more to the pile. So, you know, colors, it's a personal choice. It's how you want to do it. But here's what I've sort of picked out. So I had this piece, and I find that this with the ducks, so I'm going to mat this. These cards are for matting. Okay. And then I think what I'm going to do with this one is fussy cut around it and use it for a sentiment and stamp the sentiment right in the middle. So I'm just going through what my planning method would be like. Then I had some blue pieces. And so I'm going to put one on this blue. Can't tell you what shade it is because I know this is Night of Navy. So I'm going to put one on matte one with this color and matte one with this color. Okay, so this one I don't need. Then this one I'm going to matte with this. I could matte it with any of the colors that are in here. And so I'm just going to do it in the brown. And then I can get a pink for the card, or a green, or a nice blue. So, or even, no, not that one. I'll have to get another blue, or the light green. Let me see, I have a piece of light green here. Make that into a card. Oh, look at that. That pops. That pops really nicely. So I'll leave my good cardstock for cards because I can make 2 cards out of one. Now, if you need to use the cardstock, by all means do that. If you have nothing in your stash, if you haven't even started a cardstock stash of extras, little pieces that you just, you know, don't know what to do with this, then you need to start cutting up cardstock. But I have a cardstock stash, and I just went through it and started picking and putting what was together. And this I had on the dark teal, which I love. I love that on the dark teal. But then I had this piece of orange. So I thought, okay, that picks up the color in the carrots, and then put it on that. And that's going to make a really pretty card. I find this is what takes the longest, is picking the colors and going through and that. So I thought this green looked good on here. Still not sure, but I think it does. And then maybe on, but this is going to have on the beige. Let me see. Definitely not on that. Maybe with a black background. If all else fails, I'll go to black. If I have no colors that go with it, I'll go with black because black goes with everything. Or white. You know, if you want it, it's up to you. Again, I could fussy cut out of this and then just put a stamp of sentiment in there as well. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. Then, just love the strawberries. And on this green, it just pops. And then I'll, you know, does it look good on here? It certainly does. Or it might even look good on the pink. Look at that. So I can use a couple of different card colors. And then those rectangles, I just had some browns, so this looks good. It could be on a green as well. But again, I'm going with what I have in my cardstock stash. This is a plain one, so we're going to be able to dress this one up a bit. And then this one, I think I wanted it on the darker one, yeah, is going to look really smart on there. And then I'll get a color that matches for the card. So that was my planning process for cards. I'm not going to use up cardstock that I don't necessarily need to do, but I can use these for making the card bases. So I started cutting the mats to fit the paper that we had cut out, and so I'm just making it a 1/4 inch larger, and this is those 4 brown ones. So now I've still got pieces of brown left, and I'll just keep cutting. So you'll see me measuring and then determining how big so I have to measure this piece, which is 2 inch by 6 inch. So then this has to be 6 1/4, which means I need my arm out. 6 1/4. So I'll cut this first. 6 1/4. Will be, because this is 6 1/2, so this is 6 1/4. I'm just going to cut it a little bigger by 2 1/4. I'm just making a mat to go underneath all the little sections. There we go, the mat for the strawberries. So I'll just continue with that. Now I'm going to take a look at this and pick the card base, which I think I'm going to do, whoops, crumb cake with the brown. So that will really pop up, so I can get 2 cards out of this. So I'll need a couple of sheets of the crumb cake. So I'll make a couple of those. Now I think this is going to, this one I'm just going to leave aside. I think what I'm thinking is this is going to be too big for my card front. Let's get a card front. And yes, it is. So this one piece could make a card this big. I don't usually cut my cards that big. So I think what I'm going to do is cut it like right here. So I have this for one card and this for another card. I'm just walking you through my thought process, and I hope it helps you when you go through your thought process. Okay, I want to look at where the cutting line is. The cutting line is there and there. Perfect. All right, so I have this at just the right size, and then this I can use as well. So I'm going to mat those. Now this mat is not going to be big enough, but I have more brown. Thank goodness I have more brown. Bring back my cutters because I need to measure this and figure how big my mat will be. Yeah, see, I'm putting it on. It's almost like a light gray, so it picks up the animals better. And then putting it on the Night of Navy makes the blue flowers pop up. No, I think the Night of Navy is going to be nice. Okay, so instead of brown, I'm going to do this color. See, you can change your mind. Something tells me it's not right. So see, it's not right. Okay, well, I'm going to use that for this piece. So I still have pieces left over, but I'm really using up what I have in that cardstock extra package, and there we go. I think that just makes the animals pop. I like that better than the dark brown. Even the brown animals and the colors pop even better on that light gray. And then the light gray goes on the Midnight Navy or Night of Navy, and that just makes it pop. And so I'm going to add some more for sentiments and use some of the ephemera package. Okay, so there we go. I like that much better. Much, much better. It's always a work in progress. All right, I'm going to select my other cards. So I have 2 of these. All right, I have that on Night of Navy. Fold this. And this one will be on Night of Navy. Now I might put it over here. I might put it in the center. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but so I'm just putting these in a pile together as to how I want to work with them and what the colors will be. Okay. This is Crumb Cake. Crumb Cake and Night of Navy are some of my favorite colors that I use over and over. And I'm just yet. Now this can go this way on my card and it can stand up like this. Or I can, nope, I'm not going to put it that way. I could put it that way and then it'd be like from end to end. And we're going to get some of the ephemera animals because this is very plain, so we really want to build this card up. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but I'm going to just put that in my stash. And then another crumb cake. Do this. That really makes that pop. Let's put that in my pile. Another crumb cake. Remember, I had cut two of them, and I get 4 cards. Again, this is going to be plain, but we have that ephemera, and if you're not sure what ephemera is, I'm going to be showing you in just a minute. I can put this one here like this. And this green one, I haven't figured out what color I'm going to put those on. And this one, this is a different blue as well. I can't remember the color of the blue, but it looks a little different on here than where did I put my other blue one? Than on the Night of Navy. You can see the difference in the blue. There's so many different shades. It's incredible. And this one, I'm not sure about the the navy blue. This one, I think I was going to use that dark teal. So let me make a dark teal card base. Some of these are newer colors in our catalog, and some of them are still older colors. But you can see that they still go. And I think in my cardstock stash of little cardstocks, I have from my scrapbooking days yet paper. So I wouldn't even be able to tell you what color that is. But again, use what you've got. Use my bone folder to just secure that down so it lies flatter. And this one, I think I'm going to put this way. And look how that just, I can put it in the middle. I can put it off to one side. That is beautiful. That is gorgeous. And then the strawberries and this. I'm just not sure. I wanted to put that, I don't know. I want to put that on there. Or the light green, different shades of green. That looks pretty. So I think I will do that. And then the other thing that will look good on there is this. I can use this for the sentiment on this same card. All right, let's get that. Oh yes, I needed this card as well. Oh, you can see that this is too tall. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep this for another day when I show you how to make a too tall card. So I'm going to keep this and set that aside. But what you could do is cut this in half. Like you could cut it somewhere in here and make it smaller and then use it for cards or whatever. So I'm just going to set that aside for now, and I'll cut a green, a nice green card. I wonder if I have what color it is. No, I don't. But it's just a nice pale card. So I'm cutting my cards. I'm scoring at 4.5, cutting at 5.5, and that gives me 2 cards. If I score first, I only have to score once, and then you've got 2 cards. 1 sheet equals 2 cards. And I'm only using, you'll know, and I think I'm going to have the same issue with my strawberries. This is going to be too long. Hadn't thought of that. So again, we can keep this for another card. I can show you how to make tall cards in another video using the Storybook Friends. I think that's what I'll do. I'll just set that aside, and that green frame, black. And I still am not fussy on the black. I think it's too dark for Storybook Friends. So I think I'm going to get white and put it on the white. I just feel like I need to break it up. I'm just wondering if then that would go on there if I did a white, like a 1/8 of an inch white. And there is green, but it's more blue. All right, I cut the white card out. I made a boo-boo. Instead of scoring, I cut it out. Not a big deal. So it's scored at 5.5, 4.25, cut at 4.25 and scored at 5.5. So then I took this, and I like this a little better. And then if I just put it over here, just a little bit of, it goes from edge to edge, and just a little white here, and then I'll put the ephemera and the sentiment over here. Okay, so I was talking about ephemera, and this is the ephemera package. And look, it's got all the characters. So remember the little lamb that was in my card on the picture? Here's a larger one of her, and the badger, and then some greenery and gardens and boots and flowers and just all kinds of things. And these are so cute. And then there's even a white picket fence. So you just, it's like those, if you've been around for a while like I have, remember the punch-out dolls? And we used to have to punch them out and then they would fit together. Well, that's like this. There's no sticky on the back, so you have to add your own adhesive. You can lay them down flat or lift them up with the foam adhesives. So now the fun part is picking out what's going to go on my card. Now, pack, or this is the new one from Storybook Friends. Somebody loves you. Welcome, little one. So great for a baby card. Thank you so much. Hello, friend. And then on the inside, the Hello Friend is really a good versatile one, because then you can write anything on the inside of the card. All right, so I'm going to look at this. And that's why I punched this flower out, because this is the flower in here as well. So this is going to be good over here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take that out and maybe do the sentiment on there. Let me look at the Storybook Friends little bunny and some flowers we can add. And then I could do Happy Spring, or I think I'm going to do the Somebody Loves You. And I am going to stamp it Night of Navy. Now, what I find with the stamp sets is that this blue didn't look great with Night of Navy, but this Night of Navy stamp set will most likely really look good with this, because it doesn't have, it just looks a little different. I think it goes with everything is what I'm trying to say. It will go with it. Add out and some paper. Okay, so I'll move this up, move this here, and I'm going to stamp this, okay? So now remember I told you this was a new stamp. Always stamp off first and see how it looks. Okay. There we go. Somebody loves you. And then I'm going to make a banner here. Remember how to do that? Cut in the middle and then cut from this corner to the top of there. And then turn it and cut it from this corner to there. Okay, so we made a banner. And then we're going to pop it onto here. So I'll cut that and then I'll get that ready for my card. This card together. So get my glue. All right, so I glued this sentiment down, and then maybe move this like this so it's crossing this a bit. Okay, let's do that. So it's all just connecting and not just floating. There we go. These ephemeras, I mean, you can get separate packages. Oh, it looks like she's a bunny. So some bunny loves you. And then I can stamp a sentiment on the inside. That paperback is going, we're saving 2 pieces to make tall cards. I'm going to show you in another video how to make tall cards. But we've already made 1, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that we're going to make. So I'm just going to work along on these cards, and then at the end I'll show you what I have done with each card. So that is it. That is the start of Storybook Friends. We're not finished. Next week, I'll show you the 2 tall cards. I call them 2 tall cards, but they can be called slimline cards as well for the 2 pieces that were super long for my cards. But here's the finished product. I didn't go through all the steps with you because I have gone through the multiple steps in my previous videos. How to tie ribbon, how to cut cardstock, how to mat, all of that I've shown you. And this is just giving you ideas. So I showed you how to cut the paper, how to mat it, and then now this, and just my thought process on picking colors and using what I have in my stash of cardstock that is, you know, not big enough to make a card base with, but I can use it for something else. So here, I'm just going to show you the 8 cards that I made tonight. So here's card number 1. Remember the duck? So I've put the ephemera on with adhesive dots, and then I just blinged it up. On some of them I've added ribbons, some I've just blinged up. Where to put the bling? I don't know. You know what? You just look at your card and you try to figure it out. And you'll see that I haven't put it in the same spot. So on this card, I love how this one turned out. It's just duck and the rubber boots. And then I just put the bling on the pattern paper, and I stamped right on the paper itself. I think the Hello Friend is the one stamp that I've used quite a bit. Then this card, very easy to make. I just wrapped the ribbon. This is twine. I just wrapped the twine around 3 times, then tied a knot in it, stamped directly on the card, and then some. This color is taking the color from his scarf, so that's why I picked that color, just to bring it together, and then just put the bedazzled jewels at the bottom there. Very simple card to make, but it looks very elegant. I do love how this one turned out. So it's got all the characters in the back, and remember I changed my mind and did the gray, the pale gray, and then I just did my Hello Friend on a piece of white, but stamped it near the bottom, and then put the ephemera flower on top just to dress it up. Just another beautiful card. And this one was just a plain front, and I thought, I'm just going to frame up this lamb. She's so beautiful and so gorgeous. And so then I did tie a bow at the bottom, and then I did put the jewels, some on here, and then I did put one on her gown, just where it ties. Then this one I dressed up with some ephemera, wrapped the ribbon, tied a bow, just a knot here, and then just some acorns and a butterfly, and just that, see how that dresses it up? And I just stamped Somebody Loves You at the bottom because there was a bunny on there. You can't stamp it on all the cards because they don't all have a bunny on them. And then this one I think has become my favorite. I love this. I thought this blue was, it's just blended well with the flowers and the bunny and just has come together so beautifully. So I do love that one. And then this is the 8th card, the last one. So this guy is just in here, and so he's the larger guy, and it's just thank you so much. Put some blue gems on there, and I have a card. So those are 8 cards I made tonight out of that one sheet of paper, and we still have 2 more cards to make. The 2 tall cards. So that is, and the ephemera package, which is really cool. Now, what I did do was, see this container? I think I got tomatoes in it. And so when I was done with the container, I washed it up and I thought, I'm sure I can use it somewhere in my craft room. And sure enough, this is what I have the ephemera in. They were falling out. They were, as I was punching one out, another one was falling out, and I was finding them on the floor. And you don't want to lose them. You want to use them. And so I thought, I'm just going to put them in a container that keeps them all together. It's a little overkill of a container, but hey, I had it on hand. I plan on using this package up like tickety-boo. Like it's just excites me. It gets my creative juices flowing. Some paper packs do that. And I've seen some neat card ideas with the paper pack and the ephemera or the stamp set as well. So I'll be working more with Storybook Friends. It is available right now. Now, starting on next week, starting September 6th or 7th, there is a special going on, and you might want to take advantage of that. If you purchase $75 worth of product, you can pick a product free of charge. So it's called Celebration. And if you go to the last chance and the items that are on sale, you can get more for your money. I showed last week that I got 3 rolls of ribbon. They were about $3.50 each. So that's a good deal. That's like, then you get a lot. I got a lot of stuff, products that I'm going to use, and then I was able to pick something out, and there's quite an array of items to pick out as well. So if you're interested in that, let me know, or go online, go to my store and just check it out, and check out Celebration and say, oh gee, for $75 I need some supplies. Then I can get a free stamp set or a free paper pack or ribbon, or what else do they have? I know they have some other things, but they have quite a few stamp sets and with sayings on them. So that's a great way if you need to get stocked up on sayings. I've got a little adhesive stuck to my finger. So thank you for joining me and working with Storytime Friends and just working on an assortment of cards. I can't believe this one has become my favorite. I just love it. And you know what? If for some reason I want to change this to, because I think there's a stamp set in there that says, I'm looking for my stamp set and I can't find it. Welcome baby. I could change that out because that would look really good for a baby card as well. So, you may have had it all done, but you can just take it apart and use it for something else. So thank you for joining me, and I'm excited about sharing these cards with loved ones or friends or neighbors or colleagues, whoever needs a card, because that's what we're trying to do, is to share kindness one card at a time.